Hey everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to ATYL Live, our first show of 2025's on our new date. If you want to listen to us live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Glad that you are tuning in. If you don't know me, my name is Taylor Kitchen and I talk about NASCAR all the time. You might know me from my shows Above the Yellow Line and of course for hosting the show ATYL Live. There is so much to talk about. We have a fantastic guest segment to get to, but before we talk about that, I want to talk about ATYL Media. What is ATYL Media in case you don't follow us on socials? That's our new umbrella company. It's a media company doing motorsports media your way. We are a team of content creators that's bringing you not just NASCAR content that you know and love from us already, but Formula One content, IndyCar content, sim racing content, dirt racing, late model content. So much content coming your way in 2025, and I want to introduce you to our brand new shows. Of course, you already know Above the Yellow Line that comes out after the races for the NASCAR Cup Series and ATYL Live that is going to be Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our new shows to the platform are going to be the Collector's Corner. You all know that we love diecast at ATYL Media. Above the Yellow Line, we show off our collections all the time. Now we're going to have a show dedicated to diecast collecting, motorsports merchandise in general. These shows will just come out whenever we feel like it, whenever we pick up a new diecast. Heck, I have a new diecast right here that I'm going to be putting into a video very soon, so make sure to check that out at ATYL Media on YouTube. But Collector's Corner is going to be one of our new shows. More new shows. Formula One, let's talk about that. We have Track Limits with John Moser, or the Motorsports Enthusiast. He's going to be running our Formula One show, and he's so knowledgeable about the world of Formula One, analysis, data, anything you want about Formula One. He's going to talk about it. So make sure to watch Track Limits coming out every Monday. Up next, we have Runnin' Retro. It is our motorsports history show run by Ben Branscombe. And I'm so excited about this one because this is a show that we're going to use to collaborate with a bunch of motorsports content creators out there that have been really putting in the hard work, putting out content weekly, monthly, sometimes daily to share their motorsports history knowledge and their favorite moments in motorsports history. This is a show that'll come out about once a month. Typically will come out on Fridays when they do, but very excited for this show. We already have episodes out right now. Let's go back to a weekly show with On Tour run by Buddy Poley. So excited to have him bring this show to our platform, focusing on the short track scene, specifically the car store, but focusing on short track racing as a whole. He's going to be doing this a little differently, obviously covering the race weekends, talking to the drivers, but also focusing on the communities where these short tracks are. So very excited to have this show part of our roster in 2025. But we go from the real tracks to the virtual tracks with Goat Talk Live. I'm so excited to have Goat Locker Racing. They are a 501c3 nonprofit for veterans, one of our partners, have their show Goat Talk Live on our platform to talk about their sim racing series and the great work that they do with veterans and highlighting those incredible stories. Their shows will be every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'll join them for their first episode that's happening this Thursday, January 9th. I'm very excited for it. Staying in the virtual world, we have Big Duke's Virtual Race Hub. If you guys already know Big Duke and love him, you're going to love this show. He's going to just be talking about the sim racing world, bringing some really inventive ideas to this show, highlighting some of the great sim racers that we have in the community, talking about product reviews and just the latest within the sim racing world, iRacing, and of course, probably talking a lot about that new NASCAR game that's coming out this year, 2025. So stay tuned for Big Duke's Virtual Race Hub happening on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The first show happening next Wednesday. There's definitely a lot of night shows that we have on this platform, but what about a morning show? That's where Sal Nicosia comes in with Splash and Dash, really focusing on NASCAR. It'll kind of be the precursor to the ATYL live shows that we do Tuesday nights. This show will be on Tuesday mornings, really focusing on the Xfinity series, but talking about NASCAR as a whole. So if you're not able to make our night shows talking about NASCAR, join Sal in the morning. We're going to start the shows pretty early, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to check that out there. Moving on, though, to our IndyCar show. I'm so excited about this one because New Gaiden, or Alex Anderson, has a really cool concept for his show, 4 Laps, that'll start when the IndyCar season begins. But breaking down these races into bite-sized pieces, talking about big industry news, etc., in such a cool way. So 4 Laps with New Gaiden will be out soon. And then last but not least, the Johnny Roberts is joining our team with his show Lights Out. We're going to feature it on our platform periodically, so very excited to have him on our show. Excited has been the word I'm using because I'm so excited about all the content creators that we're bringing into the fold this year and all the wonderful shows and content that we're going to have, and we're always going to be adding more, so stay tuned for news from us at ATYL Media. But now it's time to go to our guest segment. And this segment today is really important to me. I think as we go into a new year or leave the previous year, there's a lot of maybe some stress, anxiety that goes with it, a lot of pressure, and just a lot of just mental health things that come up, you know. And this guest that I'm bringing on in a few minutes just really resonated with me. You guys might know we had our logo on a car, in my Carmen Racing car for the Martinsville Xfinity Series fall race. And it was like the coolest thing ever. And what was really cool about it is we were able to share the car with other great partners of my Carmen Racing and Logan Bearden for that race weekend. And one of those partners was SAVE22. They are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is really focused on helping first responders, veterans, just through mental health struggles, just giving them community, letting them know they're not alone and helping them through those times. And not only are they an Ohio-based company, go Bucks, that mission close to home resonated with me, but also just the work that ATYL Media already does with veteran nonprofits, Goat Locker Racing, Operation Valor. Their cause resonated with me, and I just wanted to share it with you all. So I'm so excited to welcome John Moser to the show to talk more about SAVE22, his personal journey, and so much more. Let's get to it. Hey, John.
Hey,
Good to
hey,
see you.
how about them Buckeyes, huh?
Oh my gosh, man, I was not expecting them to do as well as they did, and I'm so
Ah,
excited.
not at all, not at all. That was amazing, though. I loved it. It was great. It was great. Congratulations to you, man. You just dominating in 2025. Check you out.
Thank you so much. I'm trying my best. We were all trying. Hopefully, you're having a great start to the new year as well. I know you and Save 22 have a lot of plans this year, but I'm so happy you could join me on the show, talk about your journey. And also, of course, thank you for serving our country. We really appreciate your service.
Oh, well, it I never really know how to answer that. You can say it was my pleasure. It wasn't all fun. I never know what to say, but I started saying thank you for the support. So thank you for being there. Thank you for recognizing not just myself, but all veterans and first responders. It's a thankless jobs a lot of times. So thank you for that.
Of course, and talking about that service that you did, just kind of, I'd love to start off by talking about your time while you served, and what compelled you to make that decision to, make the sacrifice to serve to protect our freedom.
I get asked that quite a few times, and the bottom line is Father's Day weekend in 1978. Showing my age. I was 7 years old, and I got to take my first ride in an airplane down here at a little local grass strip, which is just a couple miles from my house now. And I was hooked. A month later, we went to an air show down at Dayton, right, Pat, and climbed aboard a C5 and
Oh my.
was just in awe. And from that moment forward, everything I did was focused on being in the Air Force. Um, the call to serve. I don't know. My dad was a tank recovery specialist in the Army, Ohio Army National Guard. Didn't get deployed. Never got veteran status. Right. But it was something about the uniform, the patch, the rank. Watching the movies as a kid. I was born in the middle of Vietnam, not over there, obviously, but that's what was on, and there was a lot going on, and I don't know. Rocky Blyer's story really inspired me. Notre Dame running back and gets drafted by the Steelers and then gets drafted to go serve and chooses to go serve. And then comes back with shrapnel and just fought his whole way back to end up being one of the premier running backs of the 70s, and just makes his mark. Like nothing's going to keep me down. It was just, I don't know. It was just something in me, and I never looked back. I did 23 and a half years. I had a little break in '99. I got out and got married, and my wife said, "You're not the same person that you were a year ago. You might want to go back in." So I went back in. I went back in and finished out another 14 years, deployed 4 more times.
Wow.
Um, crazy stuff. So it's just how life worked out.
And I always just I think about, like, the first time just flying. Gosh, I mean, I've never been in, like, a jet or anything like that, but, like, what was that first time, like, flying for you? Do you
Out
remember that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Out of body. It was like I was made to be there. 7 years old. I didn't hear, feel like I can still like I got goosebumps. It was just perfect, right? I was just meant to be here for some reason. Engines, aeronautics, mechanics, the whole nine yards. And my whole life has been that way now with racing. Either, man, I did Winston West, I did super lates, I did late models, all as a mechanic, never as a driver. But multiple airframes. Flew on a C-130 as a flight engineer for nearly 1,000 hours. I worked in the government sector when I got off active duty and retired from the reserves, uh, around airports for 19 years, I think, until I was medically retired last spring. And it's just always been who I was. I can't explain it any other way.
And you mentioned that racing connection and just the background and just mechanics and things like that. So NASCAR's been a part of your life for a little bit, or just racing in general, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, very long time, very long time. My old man had a stock car with the neighbor and had that in the garage, and I can remember painting the rims with spray cans, rattle cans,
Yeah.
or come home wrecked, and Dad would say you got to clean the rubber out of the well or whatever, and I was just always around it. How I got into it as an adult was funny. I was at Winter Heat. Is that Phoenix or Tucson? I can't remember. Winter Heat used to be run at Phoenix, I think. PIR, maybe.
Mhm.
Maybe it was Tucson. But I was at one of those airports, and I was headed back to Las Vegas, and Chris Trickle's team was actually in the waiting area. It was back when you could still smoke in the airports and drink and all that stuff. So, I took a shot and walked up to him and I said, "Hey, my name's John Moser. I'm in the Air Force. I'm stationed in Las Vegas. I grew up with race cars. I'd really like to come by and check out the shop." And short track legend Dick Cobb is the guy that was sitting there, and he first word was, "Can you weld?" I said, "Well, I've seen it done, and my dad did it growing up, so I'm sure I can figure it out." And he just points at his wife and goes, "She can weld." I go, "Well, then I guess I can too." And he goes, "Fine, here's our business card. Give me a call and we'll come see you." So, it's cliche. You hear it a lot in NASCAR that they started off pushing brooms, but I literally started off pushing brooms for Dick Cobb. And that led me to meet Chris Trickle and Chuck Trickle, and then this little guy from the Truck Series came by named Lance Hooper, and he ended up being a NASCAR Series crew chief, right? I think he was in the Truck Series. A guy you might remember, I'm not sure if a lot of people would remember, but Ron Hornaday,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, just got
yeah,
called Ron Hornaday, no big deal.
yeah, pitted next to us, borrowed some tools off of him. I actually ran into him last year at Mid Ohio, and we kind of reminisced for a minute about Dick Cobb and those short track minutes. So racing is one of those things that you'll just, no matter where you go, you're a racer, and you can talk about a track or a turn or a car or a wreck or a cheat that you did, bending the rules or whatever. And it's just always been incredible. I raced open wheels as a mechanic, late model super lates, Winston West. And then last year at Daytona, I got to stand in the winner's circle with the
Wow.
24 car and the Air Force Thunderbirds. I mean, um, racing has just given me so many incredible memories. So I'm really happy to be part of SAVE22 and this motorsports outreach that I'm starting. And man, it's going to be incredible. I can't wait. Let's talk about that. Enough about me. How's that?
I was gonna say, I mean, you segued perfectly into it, is just the incredible work, SAVE22 is doing, and the, commitment to, having that motorsports outreach program. And of course, being able to go to the track, see your logo on the car, meet some folks from the organization. Like, that was super cool. So I'd love to hear more
Cool.
about, what your guys are doing with that.
We started off years ago with a phone call to me that said, "Hey, do you want to go to Iggy Six Motorsports down at Mid Ohio?" And at the time, it wasn't Iggy Six Motorsports; it was an F4 series. I'm trying to remember the name of the team. Forgive me if I don't. But they said, "Come on down," right? And I thought, "Okay, what do you want me to do? Be there as SAVE22 or what?" And they're like, "No, we want you to go as a veteran and check it out." And man, I was hooked. I was hooked, and I thought, man, we should do this for everybody. Like let's try this another way, right? Or let's just keep doing this. And I ended up being a mechanic for those guys. I got hired for a 5-day stint down in yeah, right. You're laughing like
I was
it just
like, no, it's like awesome. Like the
it just kind of
connections you
happened.
make. Yeah.
Yeah, I was down at VIR for a 5-day stint. 11 races, I think it was. We wrecked like 10 times.
Oof.
It was me and one other dude. We kind of put um, those 10 cars back together, and every race got made but one. It was just one of those things, just really awesome and intense. So, the way the program was running wasn't really working for us. So we tried a couple other things, and we got a hold of Mike Harmon Racing in Xfinity Series. And Karen over there was incredibly gracious, and her and Albert, our president at the time for the board and our outreach guy, um, they took like four guys to the Xfinity 250 down at Daytona a few years ago, right? And then Mike Harmon, had given them VIP access to be in the pits and to be on pit road and to see the garages and be there for all kinds of stuff. And then I think we did Charlotte and we took like six guys. And then Martinsville, you met Nick this year, right? That led us into NHRA and the truck series with G2G Racing. We got, in with G2G, and I took a whole group of like six guys down to Mid Ohio last year. Um, we did, man, where else? Las Vegas, NHRA, took 20, right? 20
Wow.
veterans and their caregivers to the NHRA races with Lex June, who is just an absolute huge supporter of us and of veterans and first responders. His hashtag is never quit.
I love that.
And when you listen to his story of why he still has never quit on his car, it's just a perfect fit for us and SAVE22 and the motorsports outreach. And you hit on it. When you can see your logo on that car, or you can bring guys in that they might be struggling with whatever's going on in their head. And it doesn't have to be like a suicidal ideation. It's just, man, something ain't right, right? It's just not the same since I got out. I can't seem to do this or do that. And I did this while I was in, and I really have an affinity for this. And hey, man, let me get you and your wife, or you and your spouse, or you and your caregiver. Why don't you apply for our program? And if we have a race in your area, we'll get you two passes and just come out, right? There's no fees, there's no anything for you. Just come hang out. I'll be there. If you get triggered by something, come talk to me, right? Let's just get out and have fun. We want you out of your shell, right?
Hmm.
Because that's where I was. I was stuck in this shell, and my shell was imploding on me, and I could not get any relief. And that's what made me reach out to SAVE22, and 9 years later, here I am, vice president of the board, motorsports outreach coordinator. I'm doing podcasts. I've been all over the country with racing, met some pretty incredible people, interviewed some awesome people. Um, but man, I just wanted to share what it did for me. It could do that for you too. It doesn't have to be my path, right? You don't have to go start a podcast or meet Al Unser Jr. for coffee and have an hour-long conversation. That might not happen for you. But what will happen is, I can guarantee that you're going to be outside your house, and you're going to be outside your head that keeps you in that down, depressed, anxious, nasty feeling, right?
Hmm.
You just got to get out of it. And if I can get you out of that for 2 to 4 hours or a day, or have a conversation with your caregiver, your spouse, your partner, whatever it is, and maybe what I say triggers something in you where a light switch goes off, and now you start doing more and more and more, and then you start giving it back, right? Because that, in the long run, that's what it's all about for us, right? It's not about what I have, what I've done, what I've accomplished, what my awards, my medal. It's not about any of that. It's how I treat other human beings, and how I educate and share my experiences with others, so that they're not as scared as I was when I went to
Right.
that place, because I didn't think anybody knew what I was talking about. And man, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, I think the one thing that stuck out to me when we first met and, you and I had a conversation was just the vulnerability and what you were able to share and the experiences you had. And we just had an over hour conversation just going back and forth
Yeah,
just about experiences. And I
yeah,
think there's such a stigma around mental health and that it's a sign of weakness if you're struggling and things like that. And the more we talk about it and the more
right.
we share our experiences and offer help, like that's what Save 22 does. And you offer that space in a unique way in the motorsports outreach program to get people to smile, step out of their comfort zone. Like that's incredible what you all do.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's funny that just by saying, yeah, man, I felt that way, or being able to see a look on somebody's face and go, hey, what's going on? What are you looking at
Yeah.
right now? Right? What are you looking at right now? And you can see that they don't want to say nothing. You've seen it. You know, I'm good. I'm good. Hey man,
Yeah.
let me share a little bit about my story with you for a minute if you got a second, do you? Right? Yeah, I got a minute. And they're all right. I'm not going to share anything with this guy, right? That ain't going to happen. What's this guy know? And then you go, this board over here was our therapy thing, and we do a line, and you connect this and this and this, and then you start talking about this happening. You see a little twitch in their eye or a little thing that, okay, I hit it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
that feeling hit him. Whatever you were sharing, that feeling hit him or her, and then you bring it right out to them and just go, that one hit, didn't it? See, man, you're not alone, right? You're not the only one that ever feels this way, right? I used to be this big guy. I was 278, 280 pounds. I'm down to 180 now, right? So I was big. I had big, burly beard. People called me intimidating, tattoos everywhere, right? Ride a Harley, black vest. But I was that teddy bear, dead honest. Just come talk to me, right? There's not a lot I haven't done and not a lot I haven't been through. Not in an egotistical way, but in a way to
Right.
say, look, man, I've been there. I have been that close to being done and gone. Gone. Last year I walked both my daughters down the aisle. I got to hand both my daughters off to their partners last year, 8 years after I attempted my own suicide. And it was not lost on me that moment, right? It's not lost on me. My daughter is a Air Force Thunderbird crew chief, right?
Oh,
She
that's
is
amazing.
my daughter, right? Is 1% of 1% of 1%, right? So, there's so many things I would have missed had I ended it that day. And man, I just don't want anybody else to feel that way, right? Because everything in life is temporary, and I've learned that in the last 8 years, 9 years from the suicide thing, that everything goes away. Joy, happiness, sadness, anxiety, depression, cold, hot, everything is temporary.
Mhm.
Just got to weather the storm. So hopefully we can offer that with some diversion therapy, get them out of their shell, their box, and talk about something that they're passionate about, right? And what ends up happening is we end up finding out that we shared certain sandboxes together, or we served at the same time together, or different places at different times, or same places at different times. You know what I'm saying? Or or I'll get pulled aside and they'll just start crying, and that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. It really is, because you're only going to cry for 30 seconds or a minute. It's not going to last all day. And when you do that cry, I can almost guarantee you that those tears will feel clean. They won't feel
Mhm.
salty and dirty. They're going to feel clean. And when you feel that clean tear fall down, it's almost like you've been washed of what you were holding on to.
It's almost like a
You know,
weight lifted.
it's amazing. It's amazing. And you see it with other people. I felt it for myself. And this isn't something that just happens one time. This If you're in the job, this, you've had to deal with mental health and your own struggles. You know these things. It's an everyday occurrence.
Mhm.
It's an everyday occurrence, right? I have to learn how to love myself. And I'm not
100%.
gonna I am not gonna learn it in one day. I am not gonna learn it in one therapy session, right? One round of drugs from the shrink isn't gonna help me out. What's going to help me out is talking to somebody who's been there, that we share a passion with, who shared the same emotions together.
Mhm.
And if he did
It's
it or she did it, I can do it too.
100. It's that community that helps, that support, and all the support that you at Save22, you not just yourself, but Save22 offers veterans, our nation's heroes, is huge. To have that community is big. So I appreciate everything you and Save22 do as well, and I cannot wait to see what all you have in store in 2025. Is there anything you can
Uh,
share? Any
well,
anything you guys have in planned?
ironically, nice segue. Uh, Goat Locker Live has asked me to be on their show on the 23rd. So we're going to be on the Goat Locker show on the 23rd, or Goat Talk Live. We're going to be on that. 2025 is going to be huge for motorsports for us. Right now we've had a couple donors kick in. They've offered us a few bucks. We're looking at being in the IHRA and the NHRA with Lex June, so we'll be doing a dual thing there. I don't know how many events we're going to make, but if you're listening and you're into drag racing, man, get a hold of us, info@save22.vet, and send us an email. Get on our website, save22.vet, apply for our programs wherever you're at, because we can get you to an event, right? I can't guarantee it, but we can make sure if there's an event in your area that we are part of, you'll be on our list to get access. And it's Save 22 doesn't even have to be with Lex June. Lex June's got a partnership with us that he can bring his veterans and first responders to that track without us being there. That's a big help for us. NASCAR this year is going to look a little bit different. We're not fully committed with one team anymore. We're going to try and push it to where we just get the hospitality from the teams, right? So where Save 22 will take, say, 10 veterans, 5 veterans, whatever it is, with full a VIP access day. And we're just going to coordinate the hospitality with the teams on pit road and in the garage, and we'll coordinate that accordingly, right? Instead of committing a whole schedule out, we'll commit it one race at a time. What else do we got? Formula 4, Formula 3, Formula 4, FR America Series, the Iggy 6 Motorsports team, right? They're a veteran-owned team, Marine. We sponsor them, take veterans to the track to wrench, to be part of the team itself, to experience the whole thing with them. Be on the lookout for them. They're with FR Americas. That is Scott Goodyear's league from IndyCar. So you IndyCar fans would know Scott's a heck of a guy, and man, he throws out the red carpet when I call him up and I say, we got a group of guys coming, and familiar. I mean, amazing guy. Your chat popped up and I saw a word and it hit in my head. What else do we got? We're going to be at Norwalk with the NHRA this year, Norwalk, Ohio. So Ohio girl, and come on down. Let's go. We'll probably have our truck over there. We'll have our trailer, our back porch set up, where we just say, come on over and you know what, let's have a back porch conversation. So, and then if I may, one more minute with you, Save 22 is going to start a Tuesday talk, and we're going to start that on the 21 January. It'll be at 10 o'clock, and it's just going to be an open conversation. I'm going to be on there. I am a peer recovery supporter, right? Just waiting on my certificate to come back in the mail, right? So not medical advice, not anything. We're just going to come on for 2 hours. You can email us at tuesdaytalk@save22.vet. And tell me what's going on with you. Maybe we can talk you through it. Maybe we can just sit and have a moment together, right? There's nothing like sharing a story with somebody that understands. Veteran, first responder, civilian, everybody's free to join. It's going to be through our YouTube channel and go to simultaneously to our socials. So save22.vet is where we're at. Look us up, info@save22.vet. And as always, if you're struggling, please reach out. 988 is the suicide hotline. Press 1 if you're a veteran, and it'll take you right to the VA suicide hotline. Look, and if you don't want to talk to anybody, send us an email and I'll get back to you. You got to have that 3 a.m. friend, or that somebody that you can just unload on and maybe catch a different perspective about what's going on in your life. And, maybe just get a little hand up, right? It's not a handout, it's a hand up. Right.
100%. Now, I'm so excited for all you guys have going on in 2025, and seriously appreciate all you do, not only for just first responders, veterans, but just in general. Your guys' mission is incredible. And of course, if you all know of somebody struggling in your life, first responder, veteran, anything that was just mentioned, make sure to reach out to Save 22 and they will give you guys the help that you need. But John, it's been so lovely to talk to you. Seriously.
I love talking to you, Taylor. You are incredible. We're going to talk more because I think we're going to be involved. One more thing. I don't know if we're going to announce it or not, but it's already been on social media. Save 22 is going to be a title sponsor for an iRacing league through Goat Locker.
Yes.
So we are going to be that, and we are also going to be the title sponsor for Goat Talk Live. So look, you're gonna hear a lot of us this year. The bottom line is, if you're struggling, just talk about it. Find the right people. If you don't know where to go, find somebody who does. But do not ever give up. Right? Mm-hmm. Goat Locker says one more lap. We say one more day. Just one more day. Man, I love you guys. This is fantastic. I love doing this.
Incredible. Oh, well, so good to have you on. Of course, everyone, make sure to support Save 22. Of course, support Goat Talk when their show debuts this Thursday, presented by Save 22. So make sure to check that out. John, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and we appreciate, again, all that you do.
Hey, Thank you very much, Taylor, and I hope to see you at the track someday soon.
100%. Have a good night.
See ya.
I sincerely want to thank John for everything he does, everything SAVE22 does to help our nation's heroes. They do so much for us, and what SAVE22 does is truly incredible. So if you guys want to support them, of course, like we said at the end of the show, go to save22.vet to support their efforts. But that is it for this episode of ATYL Live, our guest segment. If you want to watch the entire ATYL Live show where we bring in the rest of the ATYL crew, go to our YouTube channel, ATYL Media. Make sure to follow our live shows there. Of course, we go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. So make sure to check us out live if you can. But of course, we'll always be posting on our podcasting platforms with our guest segments. Thanks to our partners, Benzik Designs. If you guys want to get 124 die-cast stands, make sure to go to Benzik Designs Etsy page, type in ATYL 2025 when you check out to save 20% on brand. Is a great partner of ours, the Bright Mentality and Goat Locker Racing, of course. Thank you to our partners for our 2025 season. And we have more to announce very, very soon that we are so excited about. But thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of ATYL Live. Of course, my name is Taylor Kitchen. And until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.